Tonight's story follows Lily Park, a rising TikTok creator who gets the opportunity of a lifetime, an invitation to an exclusive creator house. But as her follower count climbs toward 1 million, she discovers the historic mansion has a terrifying appetite for digital fame. TikTok House of Shadows. The DM that changed Lily Park's life arrived at midnight. Congratulations, you've been selected to join Shadow Creek Creator House. Full sponsorship, private room, professional lighting, 24/7 filming access. Interested? Lily watched her latest dance video's views climb past 500k as she read the message again. At 22, she'd almost given up on making it big on TikTok, but her Day in the Life of a Night Shift Nurse series had suddenly blown up last month. The Victorian mansion loomed against the Seattle skyline like something from a Gothic novel. Wrought iron gates swung open as her Uber approached, though Lily couldn't see who opened them. "You must be our newest resident." Mrs. Grace appeared so suddenly that Lily jumped. The house manager wore an elegant black dress that seemed from another era, her silver hair pulled into a perfect chignon. "Let's get you settled before the golden hour. The light here is particular." The house was a TikToker's dream. Vintage architecture meets modern tech. Ring lights in every corner, soundproofed rooms, infinity mirrors, and enough props to create endless content. 6 other creators were already in residence, each with their own carefully curated aesthetic. "Don't mind the shadows," said Kai, a fashion creator with 2M followers. "They're weird in playback, but it gets massive engagement. Watch." He showed Lily his latest video. Something seemed off about the way his shadow moved a split second after he did, how it seemed to wave when he didn't. "Just a glitch," he laughed, but Lily noticed he wouldn't meet her eyes. Her first video from the house hit 1M views in an hour. Haunted House Check became her new series, showcasing the mansion's oddities. Comments poured in. "Did anyone else see that figure in the mirror at 013? The room looks completely different in her last video. Why is there a woman in a black dress standing behind her when she's alone?" Lily rewatched her videos obsessively. Each playback showed subtle differences, rooms rearranging themselves, doors that hadn't been open, people who couldn't have been there. "Algorithm gold," Kai insisted, but she noticed dark circles under his eyes, how his videos made him look younger while he seemed to age between posts. 2 weeks in, Lily couldn't sleep. The house felt alive at night, humming with electronic energy. Her phone chimed endlessly as her follower count soared toward 1M. That's when she noticed the pattern. Dance with Jenna, last post 3 months ago, right after hitting 1M, but her account still uploaded daily. Makeup Magic Maria, disappeared after her 1,000,000th follower. Account remained active. Kai Style hadn't posted in person for days, but his content kept coming. Lily found their rooms empty, beds unslept in. Mrs. Grace only smiled when asked about their whereabouts. Creators come and go. The house remembers them all. That night, filming her latest video, Lily saw something in her viewfinder that made her blood freeze. Behind her reflection stood another version of herself, older, exhausted, warning. But when she turned around, she was alone. The clip posted itself before she could delete it. It went viral instantly. Lily spent the next 3 days analyzing every frame of her viral video. The older version of herself seemed to be mouthing words, but she couldn't quite make them out. Her hands shook as she slowed the footage down. "Don't reach 1 million." The house had its own energy now, a constant electric hum that made her teeth ache. At night, ring lights flickered on by themselves, and phones recorded phantom content that posted while their owners slept. "Have you noticed something weird about the old videos?" Emma, a newly arrived beauty creator, asked one morning. The house looks different in each one, like completely different decades. They hunched over Emma's phone, scrolling through archived posts. The mansion shifted like a mirage. Victorian splendour, 1920s glamour, modern minimalism. But the shadows always moved wrong, and Mrs. Grace's reflection appeared in impossible places. Lily started researching the house's history. Theodore Blackwood built it in 1892, a railroad baron obsessed with photography. He'd claimed to discover a way to capture youth itself on film. Then he disappeared, leaving only a series of portraits showing him growing mysteriously younger. "You're being paranoid," Kai told her when she shared her findings. But his face looked gaunt, aged decades since yesterday, while his latest video showed him glowing with unnatural youth. His follower count, 999,50. Lily found an old newspaper article in the library downtown. Shadow Creek claims another victim. Young performer vanishes, leaving only photographs. That night she heard screaming from Kai's room. She rushed in to find his phone recording by itself, the screen showing a younger version of him dancing. But Kai's bed was empty, the sheets cold. His follower count hit 1M by morning. "Such a shame about Kai leaving us," Mrs. Grace said at breakfast, sliding a contract across the table. "But we need to discuss your rising numbers, dear. Time to renew your residency agreement." Lily's own follower count, 995,000. She found more evidence in the mansion's dusty attic, dozens of journals from previous residents. Their words grew increasingly desperate as they approached 1M followers. The final entries all ended the same way. "The house wants to keep me young forever." Emma helped her connect the pieces. The house wasn't just recording content, it was recording youth itself, feeding on the energy of viral fame. Each view, each like, each share drained a little more life from the creators, replacing them with their digitally preserved selves. "Look at this," Emma whispered, showing Lily a video from last week. The playback showed Emma alone, but the mirror behind her revealed Mrs. Grace, looking exactly as she had in a photograph from 1892, labelled Elizabeth Blackwood. Lily's phone buzzed. 999,000 followers. Emma's hand trembled as she gripped Lily's arm. "We have to expose this place before—" But Emma's voice cut off mid-sentence. In the phone screen's reflection, Lily watched in horror as her friend seemed to dissolve into pixels, sucked into the digital ether. Emma's account posted a new video seconds later, her image now flawless, eternally young. Lily's phone chimed again, 999,500 followers. The house's hum grew louder, hungry for its next viral star. She had hours left at most, unless she could find a way to break its hold before reaching 1 million. The mansion thrummed with electric anticipation as Lily's follower count hit 919,900. Ring lights pulsed like heartbeats, and every screen in the house flickered with her face. Young, perfect, eternal. She had 30 minutes left, at most. Mrs. Grace, Elizabeth Blackwood, stood at the top of the grand staircase, her ageless smile now terrifying. "The house has chosen you, dear. Your content will live forever, inspiring millions. Isn't that what you wanted?" But Lily had discovered Theodore Blackwood's final journal entry, hidden behind a loose panel in the attic. The house feeds on attention. The more eyes watching, the stronger its hold. Elizabeth doesn't understand. She's become part of it, trapping others to maintain her own digital immortality. There's only one way to break the cycle. Lily's hands trembled as she set up her final live stream. 20 minutes left. Followers poured in, drawn by the house's dark energy. Her reflection already showed signs of aging, while her camera display captured only youth. "Today I'm exposing the truth about Shadow Creek House," she began. The mansion shuddered. Mrs. Grace lunged forward, but Lily had expected that. She slammed the attic door, barricading it with Theodore's old camera tripod. 15 minutes. She trained her camera on the house's hidden corners, revealing its impossible angles and hungry shadows. With each exposed secret, the walls seemed to crack, reality bleeding through the carefully curated perfection. "This house doesn't make content creators," Lily announced to her growing audience. "It consumes them. Every like feeds it. Every share strengthens it. Every view traps another soul." 10 minutes. 999,950 followers. The floor buckled beneath her feet. Phones flew across the room like angry wasps. Mrs. Grace's voice echoed from every speaker. "They won't believe you. They'll say it's just another trend, another filter, another piece of content." But Lily had one final card to play. She turned the camera on Mrs. Grace's portrait from 1892, then to 100 years' worth of house photos. In each one, the same woman appeared, unchanging. Then she showed the dried-out husks of phones in the attic, each containing a final desperate warning from previous creators. 5 minutes. 999,990 followers. "The only way to break its power," Lily read from Theodore's journal, "is to make people see it for what it is, to turn attention into awareness." The house screamed in digital agony as comments flooded in. "Wait, this is real! Look at the date stamps! Call the police! Everyone, stop sharing!" Mrs. Grace's perfect form flickered like a failing video. "What have you done?" 1 minute, 999,999 followers. Lily smiled into her camera one last time. The content houses, the endless pursuit of virality, the obsession with digital perfection, it's consuming us all. But we have a choice. We can choose reality over illusion, truth over trends, life over likes. She pressed end stream just as her follower count began to drop. The house's hum died. Its perfect walls aged decades in seconds. Mrs. Grace, Elizabeth, crumbled into the dusty truth of her years, finally free from her digital prison. Phones throughout the mansion lit up with notifications. Jenna, Maria, Kai, Emma, and dozens of others, all posting from their actual locations, their real selves restored. 3 months later, Shadow Creek House became a museum and cautionary tale. Its rooms now show the dark side of digital fame, teaching visitors about the difference between living a life and curating one. Lily still makes content, but from her small apartment, sharing unfiltered moments and honest stories. Her follower count never approached 1 million again. She prefers it that way. Sometimes, though, when scrolling late at night, she swears she sees shadows moving strangely in other creators' videos, hears the hungry hum of digital immortality calling to a new generation. But that's another story. For now, she's happy to be real, be present, be alive. And somewhere in the attic of a certain mansion, a single ring light still pulses softly, waiting.